Hey guys, check it out. You beautiful people on Expediting Land. Danny, your host of Expediting Land YouTube channel. We are sitting in Pennsylvania, going to unload tomorrow. Picked up in Indiana. We are unloading in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Anyway, I just want to go over a video segment here. I think it's important why you need to keep copies of your B.O.Ls and how to retrieve your pay if you have departed from a shady owner and been with him a couple of months and the last couple of loads or so, 2 or 3 loads, whatever, he's withholding your pay. What you need to do is it's not simple, but it's a little bit lengthy if you can do this. I've had a couple of drivers that needed some assistance, did some research on it, and it worked out fantastic for them in the past. When you departing from an owner, they're refusing to pay, and you have a good record with the carrier, and you done your part, the Expedite vehicle you were in, no damage, you've turned in the vehicle in an agreeable place with that owner, and everything's hunky-dory, and he says, oh yeah man, I'll pay you later, man, everything's good. 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, the 5th week you're pretty much, trying to get screwed up the ass again. So here's what you do, ladies and gentlemen. Here is exactly what you do. Listen to me carefully. 1, find out the city and state that the owner resides in. The owner resides in. Okay? 2, those B.O.Ls that you have delivered. That's why you keep copies of them throughout the year, throughout your working period time. Okay? You need those copies of the B.O.Ls. The reason being, B.O.Ls are attached to that freight that was delivered by the vehicle which was driven by you. They all attach to each other. The carrier will have a copy of the B.O.Ls as well. Here's what you do. Your first attempt, you want to contact your state's Department of Labor. It's free advice and free guidance, okay? Make sure you have proper B.O.L documentations to show. Make sure you have copies of the log, electronic logs, from your safety department. They'll be able to email them, print them up, send it to you by regular mail if you prefer. Your B.O.Ls and your driving logs are going to prove you were the driver of that freight and you delivered it. When that freight is delivered, the consignee signs off on all these deliveries. The carrier gets paid first, obviously. When the carrier gets paid first, obviously the owner does, and if you're driving for an owner, then you get paid. What happens is the state that you live in, the Department of Labor representative, if you have proper contact information, is going to attempt to call and contact this individual, he or she, shady owner, and you've been a good driver. You've been a good little driver. You've done all that you could. Okay, this is for good drivers. And everything's been turned in, no damage, and da-da-da-da-da. When that Department of Labor representative contacts the owner and asks point blank, are your intentions is to pay the individual? Because once the B.O.Ls and the log sheets are submitted to the Department of Labor, and you fill out the proper form, depending on what state you live in, every state's different, but the similarities for the processing is pretty much the same. But this is very similar processing in all states. Just go ahead and wait for the Department of Labor representative to do their thing. Let them contact the owner, ask why they haven't been paying you, and move on to the next step. Step number 2. If that representative calls you back in your state and says he is not going to pay you because of some reasons, blah, 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 you're going to have to file a small claims court in the state the owner lives in, not your state, but the owner lives in. Now, depending on how much money is owed to you, can be, if it's $500 or $1,400, then that's worth a drive to me, to that state to file. And nowadays, especially, there are county courthouses that have online filing. Okay. There is also waivers. If you do file in a small claims court, most small claims court money recovery is up between $4,000 and $5,000. The small claims court. And when you do file online or in person, you need to contact the representative court clerk that has filed your case and ask for a waiver if you cannot pay for the filing fee up front. They will waive it. The fee will be taken out of the settlement at the end of the court hearing when the judge decides. Now, again, keep all of your B.O.Ls that you haven't been paid for. I would go ahead and start keeping copies of your B.O.Ls throughout the year when you work. But I'm talking about the B.O.Ls that you haven't been paid for yet when you're departing from an owner. Okay, it's been 5 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, and nothing's been received, direct deposit, and checks not been mailed, and all these other things. That log sheet and the B.O.Ls are going to prove to the judge that you're the driver, Expedite driver, for that time-sensitive freight. Okay, here's what happens in the other cases when these drivers filed finally. Like again, the first step, contact your state Department of Labor and ask them to help. Their attempt is unsuccessful. Next step, file in small claims court in the owner's state of residency with the copy of B.O.Ls and the log sheets for that particular delivery, whether it's 1 delivery, 3 or 4 deliveries, whatever the case may be. When you file that paperwork, it'll take approximately 60 days to get a court date set. Now, I advise you, if it is out of state, by all means, if you're on financial hardship, try to find a way to get up there and show. If you do show up for court and that shady owner does not, you will win the case. What happens in the other 2 drivers' incidences is that this driver filed in small claims court, and he mentioned and noticed when the judge took a recess, the judge contacted the carrier and got confirmed that this particular freight was delivered by the such and such Expedite vehicle and the vehicle number. That's why we all have vehicle numbers and so on and so forth. They're attached to your name. Bottom line basically is the B.O.L is attached to the vehicle and then is attached to you as the driver that has delivered the freight. As proof of delivery by transit, the driver is the main proof you have to show and illustrate to the judge who was the driver in that vehicle. And the consignee's signature is utmost critical in this situation. The B.O.Ls will be examined by the judge, and more than likely, this is going to be a 15-20 minute case. He's going to make his decision, and he will order payment, a pay order. Now, that's the only thing in this case that you can file is loss of wages. You can't file any other nonsense categories, only loss of wages in these cases. I had a driver that recovered $1,300. And another driver that it was $320, but still it was money owed to her. Okay, and all these steps were properly taken. Again, first, contact your state Department of Labor and have them attempt to contact that owner. Make sure you have both cases. Your first attempt with the Department of Labor in your state, and if you have to, second, file small claims court in the owner's state of residency. You have to have B.O.Ls, copies of the B.O.Ls, and get copies of that weekly or 2 weeks log sheets from your safety department. They'll be able to print them up from your electronic log system and all these other things. That's why it's imperative to keep copies of your B.O.Ls in case you have to recover lost wages from a shady owner. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much in a nutshell, and you will have good results if you do and take these proper steps. It happens. A lot of people move on, do their part. They're decent people, and the owner gets pissed off, and I ain't gonna pay him. He did this. As long as the vehicle is not damaged, it's almost the same condition as it was when you were issued that vehicle. You know, I'm not going to say it's going to be identical. You know what you guys know what I'm talking about. Use some common sense out there. You know, don't have a hood missing or a windshield missing and all this other shit. You know, just have the vehicle washed, clean, and returned, or whatever. You don't have to have it washed and clean, but my point is, as long as the owner has confirmed the vehicle has been returned in a proper manner, safely manner, then you're entitled to your pay. And also, again, copies of B.O.Ls for those deliveries you've made, and the copies of the log sheets that will be printed up. You contact safety department, they will print them up for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? So this is Danny of Expediting Land signing off. If you have any additional questions about this matter, I do have an Expedite Trekker representative in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Toledo, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky that can help you out with these things. That information, I can help you out. Again, copies of a B.O.L, copies of your printed up log sheets for that delivery, and always have a copy of the contract agreeable between you and the owner. That way you will have proof. The proper steps will be attempted by your Department of Labor in your state if a successful filing a small claims court is your next step in the state the owner resides in. Okay? Any further details you need help on this subject, feel free to contact me at any time, email or Facebook, and you could come into my live broadcast starting Saturday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. We'll discuss it, okay? But, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there, and make sure that you keep copies of your B.O.Ls to recover pay. Very important. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Danny signing off. See ya!